So this is the series, Her Stories, 100 Women's Voices, and I am Dr. Mary Lou Marcillo. Today with me, I have my good friend, Rhenotha Whitaker, who is a entertainment personality and also does other type of work. And she's been so nice to say yes to me when I asked her if I could interview her. So I want to explain why I made the decision to do this series. There were two reasons. The first one was a couple of weeks ago, there was an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal chiding our future First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, not to use her title of doctor because she's not a medical doctor, first. Second, her most important role is going to be that of First Lady and wife to Joe Biden. And I thought, how is it possible that in 2021, we still have men trying to tell women what our place should be in the world and the titles that we should hold? And so I made a decision to do this series to give voice to women, to ordinary women who are doing extraordinary things. And when we hear from Rhenotha, we're going to see how her extraordinary life has taken fold over a course of a couple of last years, things that kind of weren't expected, but happened. And I think it's been an interesting journey that she's going to share with us. The second reason I made the decision to do this was my mom passed away about 10 years ago. And I feel that I've only really begun to get to know her now. In the last 2 years. I wish I had really understood who she was as a woman in her 20s, in her 30s, in her 40s, but I only saw her as a mom. And I regret not having really understood who she was as a woman. And this was the second reason I made the decision to give voice to other women, the opportunity to tell their stories, because so often we're seeing only people see us in one facet, but they don't understand the complexity of all the things that we are, to all the various people that we interact with. So Rhenotha, thanks so much for being here with me. I want to start out by asking you, where did you grow up and what was that like?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Mary Lou, Mighty Lou. Thank you so much for having me. I like to make sure I pronounce people's names correctly because mine is so difficult. And so, if you can pronounce mine correctly, then I make sure I can pronounce yours correctly.
Thank you very much.
And I want, and so, yeah, absolutely. And so, thank you again. No, I did not know anything about people wanting Jill Biden to not use DR dot. I'm sorry. If you earned a DR dot, I will be calling you doctor, okay, because you earned that. And it is just a sign of respect. And it is an acknowledgement that you earned that. You went through what you had to go through in order to get that. So guess what? I'm going to call you DR dot.
And here's the thing, Rhenotha, the thing about it is often men are given those titles, even if they don't earn them. But when women expect to be called those things, oftentimes they just go, oh, Miss So-and-so. And it's like, no, I clearly said doctor,
Absolutely. And be right. And so the disrespect is just, appalling to me because, unfortunately, in 2021, we are still facing inequality in everything that we do. And by we, I mean women. And it still just doesn't make any sense.
And if
but I don't mean to go on that tangent.
No, because that's really the purpose of this conversation, right? Because as women of color in particular, we have to overcome the gender issue and then the fact that we're women of color. So that puts us even further down.
Absolutely. And then think they can just, do and say whatever in 2021. And it's just appalling. Yeah. But Mighty Lou, I am Rhenotha Whitaker. I'm from Newark, New Jersey, born and raised. On the playground is where I spent most of my days. But that's not true. I never got off the porch. My mother did not play that. And actually, she taught me to be a good girl, and I've been a good girl all my life. But seriously, yes, I've not been more proud to say that I'm a Newarker since the past couple of years. Yes, I'm from Newark, New Jersey, born and raised, and my upbringing was welfare, poor, and I'm just thankful for the path that I did take. And
now, let me ask you that, yeah. Rhenotha, how did that upbringing shape who you became? Because you are this personality, right? I mean, that was one of the things that I loved about you when I first met you, because you're just so vivacious, so gregarious, so outgoing. So where did that all come from? Because clearly, I mean, you're growing up poor, you're growing up in a neighborhood that like
Yeah.
mine. I grew up in East Harlem. You know, it wasn't the safest of places to be. So
Mhm.
what shaped you to become who you are? Because you're really outgoing.
Yeah, I got a big mouth. So, what shaped me was my upbringing and my circumstances. My mom passed away when I was 19 years old. But before that, it was my goal to show people that just because you come from meager circumstances, that doesn't have to be your plight in life. My mother, she had a 16-year-old 10th grade education. She came from North Carolina, a small town called Scotland Neck. And actually, when people tell me that, ask me, where I'm from, I always put Scotland Neck, North Carolina in there because, that's where my mama and them is from. And, she came up with a 10th grade education, had some kids and, tried to lead them the right way. And when she when I was younger, I would always see her be fabulous, right? I would always see her be fabulous. I would always see her um, try to not look like her circumstances. Huh? I think that's a word. Amen. And so my mother would take the same coat that she had for X amount of years and sew that thing up. And when the lining was, toe up on the inside, no one would ever knew. And she had that coat for maybe, I don't know, as long, I would say about 20 years. And even when she passed away, she still had that coat. But guess what? No one knew. I mean, you know what I mean? They knew we were poor, but not by the way we looked, And so I just took that, and I always told people when I found out I was poor, I wasn't ashamed of it.
Right.
I
It's funny,
was
you didn't
not.
realize it, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
didn't
I didn't
realize it.
realize it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it, and it actually helped me become the adult that I am as well. Not to be ashamed of having to have circumstances or having to be in a place where you need help from the government or need, because things happen. And so, my mother helped me be able to take pride in everything that happens to you. And so, I mean, she definitely made me the person that I am now. She was the originator of the word diva. Okay, on welfare, 3 kids on the hip, and legally blind. Might at you. I
Wow.
might add, legally blind. You see my glasses? My glasses aren't for show. I'm blind as a bat. But I make it look good because I learned
I
from my
mean,
mama.
I think that's amazing. My mom, we were poor too, so we didn't have a lot of clothes. And one of the things my mother used to say all the time was, first of all, she always wanted us to take care of our clothes. So, we had house clothes and school clothes, or out, clothes for outside. And the house clothes were the old stuff that, had gotten dirty, broken down, really bad shape. But as
Down.
soon as we came, yeah, as soon as we came home, I had to take off my school clothes. I had to wash them because she said, even if you have to wear them every day, they should be well pressed, they should be clean, they should look as good as possible. So she just kind of literally
Absolutely.
ingrained that in me. And then it was a habit. As soon as I came through the door, take off those clothes, put on an old raggedy t-shirt, whatever, because she was like, don't ruin those clothes. You don't have that much. So we had to take a lot of care of that. So I think it's really interesting because my mother's like, we don't have to look poor.
Absolutely. When I would, and you know what? I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm tall. My mother was short, but I surpassed her at 8 years old. She was 5'3", and at 8 years old, I was looking at her eye to eye, actually.
Wow.
And so you can imagine. At 9 years old, I got bigger. 10 years old, 11 years old. So my mother wore a size 11 shoe, ironically, because she was short. That was weird. But anyway, so by the time I was 11, I was wearing a size 11 shoe. So for church, I was wearing my mama's shoes. you know,
I
you
know, because
know,
when we stand together, I'm your mother's height. So when we stand together, there's like a big difference between.
there is. Yes, absolutely. So, definitely the teaching you how to make sure you take care of your things. And then, I was a kid. So when I got hold of her stuff, you know what happened to it? I tore it up because that's just because where I'm a rough kid. I'm 11 years old. I tear stuff up. But my mom, she just taught me a lot, and
Well, she sounds like an amazing woman, and I'm sure where she is definitely proud of everything that you've accomplished, and the fact that you are her legacy truly is about the fact. I mean, when they see you, you're bigger than life personality. So that's got to come from your mom. So that's her legacy.
Oh, please. She was, my pastor would always call her the coals to the fire.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
I try to follow in those footsteps.
That's right. Can't let that down. So now let me ask you this, because you ended up being a in the entertainment world as an entertainment personality, working in the Dr. Oz show. How did all of that come about? And then you're also doing other stuff within the community. You're just doing so many different things. So how did this all evolve?
Yeah. So I've been singing all my life. I've been singing all my life. For some reason, I make people laugh. And I can just walk into a room and say, "Hey, everybody," and folks fall on the floor. Am I patting myself on the back? No. It's just, it just happens. And so I recognized that early on, even when I was younger, but never, really pursued anything with regard to entertainment professionally. So throughout my 20s, throughout my teen years, I sang here and there. I would do plays, fashion shows, because I'm quite the diva. She does have a model walk. But never quite pursue anything professionally until I got laid off from work. I got laid off. I used to be the chief of staff for a councilman in Newark. When I graduated from college, I worked in human resources at a nonprofit in Newark called Babyland. And I got the opportunity to be the chief of staff for the youngest councilman in the city of Newark. His name was Oscar James, former councilman Oscar James, and I became his chief of staff, but he didn't get reelected. And let me just say, Oscar James is still doing work in the community. Oscar James still loves his community, and I'm proud of everything that he's been able to accomplish. But he didn't get reelected, and so when he didn't get reelected, that same year, Jennifer Hudson was going to be at New Jersey Performing Arts Center. And of course, he couldn't give me his tickets because his mama wanted them. And I didn't get his tickets. But one of the other council people who really didn't listen to Jennifer Hudson, I asked him, I said, "Can I have your tickets?" "Thank you, Councilman Augusto Amador. I appreciate you." So he gave me his tickets and they were front row. And Jennifer Hudson began singing, and it was a fundraiser event, actually. So everyone was there with black ties and tails and ball gowns on. And so, Jennifer Hudson, when you go to a Jennifer Hudson concert, as far as I'm concerned, I expect you to be up on your feet singing, yes, you know how you go to a concert. And the concert is really good. You're standing up, you're clapping, you're singing along.
Everybody was just sitting there.
They were just sitting there, child. They was just sitting there. Everyone was just sitting there and gave golf clap,
Right.
They gave golf clap, and so she needed to do something. She needed to do a crowd participation song so people can get into it. And she says, "You know what? I'm gonna sing this song. I'm gonna come out there, and let's see if I can get some volunteers." Of course, I was the first one to raise my hand. I was on the front row, and my auntie, she was sitting next to me. She was like, pick her. And so I was the first one to sing, and I did a really good job. She did like 5 more people, and then went back upstage, and she said, "You know what? I'm gonna do this oldie but goodie, and I want you to come on stage and sing it with me." So I went on stage and I sang it with her. I think I did like 10 minutes with her. It's on online. It's on YouTube. My YouTube is Rhenotha at Rhenotha. If you know how to spell my name, you'll be able to find the clip. But it was amazing. It was 10 minutes. And so after that, I was like, oh my goodness. And a lot of the Star Ledger interviewed me, and I was just getting a lot of attention for it for maybe about a week or so. And after that, I said, well, maybe I can try to pursue some things with the clip and with the Star Ledger acknowledgement. And I just started applying for TV things. I started applying for TV things, but who knew that would help me get to being on TV regularly? I had no idea. So I applied for something called realitywanted.com. And Reality Wanted basically is a site where people can apply to be extras and on camera. You can basically go on and say, I want to try this thing out, but you're going to be doing on a specific TV show. Rachel Ray, Dr. Oz, Wendy, all those locals. And I did Rachel Ray the first time. I got picked for, just putting my picture up there and a little blurb about myself. They picked me to do a modeling segment for a specific style of clothing, and I was the plus size model for that. And then after that, I got picked to do the Dr. Oz show to talk about poop. To talk about poop. And to this day, everybody always says,
leverage those opportunities.
Yes.
Leverage those opportunities.
Yeah, there you go. And then, so to this day, though, she says, I remember that episode, Rhenotha, because I said, where'd the poop go, Dr. Oz? But anyway, but after that, I think that may have been 2012. And I said, well, if you need me to do more, I'm available. And they were like, yeah, we can only use you once. And so that was that. But in September of 2015, I got an email saying, hey, would you like to do this segment? I came in, it was for the Dr. Oz show. I did the segment. I did it really well. They said, oh my gosh, who are you? We're keeping you. And they kept me. And I've been a contributor to the Dr. Oz show since 2015. And I'm still a contracted contributor to the Dr. Oz show right now. And so that has opened up a bunch of doors for me. I'm a SAG-AFTRA actress now. I'm eligible to audition for Broadway. I can do background acting. And it's just that door. The fact that door is open, and agents, I can apply for agents and things, and be seen on other platforms. It's just amazing, and all because I said, where'd the poop go, Dr. Oz?
No, you raised your hand for
You're
the
right.
person. That was the key.
You're right.
Get your feet get in your way, because I would never have volunteered. First of all, I don't have the voice, but I would never have volunteered. I mean, it takes a certain personality to be like, yeah, I'll get up there, I'll sing with you.
Oh yes. Yeah. I mean, look, I know I've been singing. I know I can hold the note. I know, it's just Jennifer Hudson. Hey girl, let me get my note.
Wait, what does she got compared to you? Really? Like, come on, seriously.
But you know what? She was just like me. She was just like me.
Yeah, she did. She came from nowhere, and look at who she is today. It's just amazing. I mean, I think it really does speak to tenacity and not being fearful, right? Because you didn't let your fears get in your way. I'm sure you were nervous. I mean, my heart would have been like, oh my God, it's gonna come out of my mouth any minute now. You stood up there at NJ Pack, right? Was NJ Pack?
It was NJ Packed. It was a packed house. It was sold out. I just walked right up on that stage, went through the door, got up the steps, got on that stage and said, give me the mic. Yes. And it was no hard song, no easy song either. It was Chaka Khan.
Yeah. There's only one Chaka, that's for sure.
Yeah. It was Chaka Khan. This is my old Chaka, my Chaka hair.
So now let me ask you this, because, besides all of this, you're still also doing other type of work in the community, in terms of managing projects and doing all of that. What propels you or compels you to do that type of work, even though you're still pursuing your entertainment stuff at the same time?
Yeah. So at the same time, I run a summer program called United Parks is One Summer Environmental Enrichment Program. It's a lot. I actually said it wrong. It's United Parks is One Park Rangers Summer Environmental Enrichment Program. And
I'm abbreviating that one, all those letters.
I know, right? And so I've been doing that since 2012. Between So when I got laid off with the councilman's office in 2012, a woman named Donna Kirkland, who remembered me from being the councilman, came to me and said, "You know what? You're a part of the Milton House Park Resurrection Committee. We're looking for someone to be to run our summer program. You remember because you helped put it together." And yeah, I kind of helped put together the summer program while I was in office and while I was working. And but she in 2012, before 2012, it was run by someone else. It was run by an organization that didn't look like us, right? And because the program was something that was a benefit to our Black and Brown community. However, the day-to-day of what was happening with that program wasn't run by us. And she, you know what? And she said, you know what? I wanted to reflect. I want the leadership of what that program is to reflect who we're serving. And so she asked me. She says, "Do you want to,
Right.
run the program?"
That makes sense.
Yeah, because it's Black and Brown kids that we're serving, and because it's a
Right.
summer youth program. And so I'm not sure if you're aware, but Newark has a program called Summer Youth. No, that's mine. Called Summer Youth Employment Training Program.
Okay.
It's basically where high school students in Newark have the opportunity to work at different organizations for 6 weeks in the summer for 4 hours per day.
Wow, that's great.
And we were host agency. And so that summer in 2012, she asked me, would you like to run the summer program? And I was like, sure. And so ever since then, ever since I've been running it, it's evolved. Donna and I have curated something that we're really proud of, in that it's become an environmental enrichment program. Not so much the kids are outside in the park cleaning up the park, but they're actually learning about the environment. They're learning about horticulture. They're learning about sustainability. They're learning about greening and gardening, and they're learning about solar and green infrastructure and all those good things. And it's something that I have a hand in, and I dare not stop now. I
That's
don't
an
care.
amazing legacy, for especially for children of Newark in a city like that, right? Because often there's no focus on these areas of sustainability. And that's so critical and so important, especially in the inner cities, because we're the most susceptible to asthma, to high blood pressure. And many of those things are impacted by environmental factors that, because of where we live.
Mm-hmm. And one of the key things that we wanted to do was let young people know, the reasons why these things are happening. Well, we wanted to show them why these things are happening and how they can be included in making the change for future students, for other students.
Right, because they are the future leaders. I mean, I think that's the right age to be addressing these issues. So I have 2 questions for you left. The first one, and you kind of touched on it very briefly, and if you're not fully comfortable, that's fine. But one of the things you mentioned to me was that your mom passed away when you were 16. How is it? I mean, I can't even imagine how devastating that was, but how were you able to then go to college? How were you able to like focus on continuing with this goal to go to college?
Well, I was 19.
Oh, 19.
I was 19. I was in college, and it basically how I was able to continue was
because emotionally, I mean, that's a devastating loss. I think for a lot of people, they might say, I can't do this right now. I got to push this off.
Yeah. Well, it was nothing but the grace of God. His name is Jesus. I am a Christian, and everything I do, there's a Bible verse that says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will fall into place." And so in everything I do, I put God first. And she taught me that, my mama taught me that, you just got to put God first, and everything else will fall into place. And so I thought of her, when the question of, are you still going to stay on campus, and what are you going to do? I thought of her. I'm like, no, everything has to happen. I got to graduate. I have to graduate. I have to make her proud, and I have to continue the legacy that she put out there in me, in my siblings, and we can't just, continue to, be downtrodden because she's not here
You
anymore.
can't quit, right?
Can't quit. Can't quit. You got to keep going. Everything it's at stake. Yep.
That's just, honestly, that's amazing. I mean, I know
That
how
is
devastated,
good.
girl, I know how devastated I was when my mom passed away, and I was in my 40s. So I don't even want to, know what that was.
Let me tell you, when and let me just tell you how good God is. When I graduated, when mom passed away, I literally had nowhere to live. Because, all my aunties and, they had small apartments, and uncles, small apartments. I didn't have any big sisters or anything like that. I thank God for my church family. A couple of them took me in, but before they could actually take me in, I still had nowhere to go. And let me tell you something, Drew University took care of me. I had, the same year my mom passed away, I also got accepted into a summer DIS, which is a Drew International Seminar. And I got the chance to go to Africa. And I literally went to Africa not knowing where I was going to live when I got back. I went with one of my friends. Everybody that was on the trip, I pretty much knew all of them. It was a 3-week thing. I told my friend on the way back, I was like, Ruth, I don't have nowhere to go. I'm gonna be staying in your room, girl. So when I got back, I went to the registrar's office and the housing department. I knew I had a class to take, but I didn't know where I was going to stay. And so I went to housing. I was like, look, I don't have anything. I don't have a room. And they were like, they knew me. So they were like, Rhenotha, what are you talking about? They pulled my name up and they were like, here are your keys. What are you talking about?
Wow.
Nobody but Jesus. Okay. I'm trying to tell you, every summer I had somewhere to stay. Every winter semester I had somewhere to stay. And it wasn't nobody but God. Nobody but God, making me who I am so that people can just say yes.
All right. So my final question, Rhenotha. Yes. What advice would you give to a 20-year-old woman who's at the cusp of, not knowing what the future holds? Now that you are past that, what advice would you give them?
Wow. For not knowing what the future holds. Put God first. Keep God first. And everything else will fall into place. That is literally, as long as you are faithful, that is literally the mandate. Put God first. Keep God first. And everything else will fall into place. Even when you think everything has fallen apart, God can do miraculous things in any situation. I've had house fires, both parents gone. I mean, so many things. And I am here by the grace of God.
But I love your spirit. And I think that's honestly your enduring tribute to your mother is your personality.
To God be the glory.
Absolutely. We owe that for sure.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen. But I'm really, really grateful that you gave me your time to do this series. And I think, when people get a chance to see this and see who you are, they're going to be tuning into your channel to listen.
Yay! At Rhenotha everything. RHENOTHA, because my mama made me special. I'm the only one in the world. Okay?
That is true. That is so true. Anyway, Rhenotha, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see each other this year.
Yes, Marilu, I appreciate you. And again, it is, when we met, I just was like, hey, girl, we exchanged phone numbers. And now, I truly appreciate the friendship.
And this COVID thing has kept us apart. Otherwise, we would have had a chance to have lunch. Would we have dinner?
Right.
Yeah.
No, we did. Yes. I have a new restaurant. So.
Oh, we got to try it. All right, girl, you'll be good. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye. Thank you, Marilu.
Bye-bye.